Imagine standing at the edge of a serene ocean, your feet warmed by the golden sands. You've reached a point in life where every sunrise feels like an invitation to explore, to experience the world with newfound freedom. This is your time to savor, to live, to travel the globe as you've always dreamt. Yet beneath the surface of this promising landscape, there's a quiet erosion, not from the dramatic, sudden events we all fear, but from subtle, everyday missteps that are quietly chipping away at our time here. Contrary to popular belief, the greatest threats to a senior traveler's longevity aren't the obvious perils like accidents or illnesses. They are the subtle, daily mistakes we unknowingly make that silently age us before our time. These aren't merely mistakes we make while traveling. They're life habits that, when amplified by travel, can speed the ticking of our biological clocks. Mistake number 1, the just push through syndrome, is a common pitfall many senior travelers encounter. Picture this: Mary and Tom, a vibrant couple in their late 60s, finally fulfilling their dream of visiting the picturesque streets of Florence. With its rich history and breathtaking sights, they find themselves caught up in the kaleidoscope of beautiful architecture and lively culture. But by the second afternoon, Tom feels a slight twinge in his knee. He dismisses it, thinking, "Oh, it's nothing, just keep going." This seemingly harmless choice to keep pushing through the pain can reverberate into more severe outcomes. The body's way of communicating that something is amiss is through these minor aches and twinges. Ignoring these signals doesn't mean they disappear. Instead, they often worsen over time. Tom continued to favor his other leg to relieve pressure on his aching knee, inadvertently straining his hip muscles as a result. He found himself walking less and sitting more, a behavior that not only hampered his Florence adventure, but also slowly contributed to a more significant issue: chronic pain that followed him home. The story of Mary and Tom is not an isolated case. Many older travelers share a similar experience, often due to the mentality of not wanting to miss out on the full travel itinerary. But consistently overriding those pain signals sets off a cycle of micro-injuries leading to chronic discomfort. The body compensates for one weak spot by overusing another, causing a ripple effect that can diminish your mobility and overall travel enjoyment. You see, understanding the mechanics of how simple neglect can spiral into persistent pain is crucial. This is not about being overly cautious, but listening to your body's wisdom. Think of these aches as an early warning system. Recognizing and respecting this signal isn't admitting defeat. Rather, it's taking control, allowing for a better travel experience in the long run. Preventative care should become your mantra, and it's simpler than you might think. For example, when small aches appear, using a foam roller can be incredibly effective. These devices help alleviate muscle tension, enhance circulation, and maintain natural range and motion. Rest is another invaluable tool. Imagine if Tom had just taken a morning to rest his knee and applied a compress to reduce any inflammation. A single day of rest could have preserved the rest of their holiday adventures instead of cutting them short. Moreover, pay attention to your footwear. Invest in comfortable, supportive walking shoes that cater to your foot's needs. Often, chronic pain can start right from your feet and travel upwards, causing pain in knees, hips, and back. Also, don't underestimate the power of regular stretching before and after a day full of exploration. It can keep muscles pliable and reduce the risk of injury. While pushing through might seem worthwhile to maximize travel experiences, there's wisdom in recognizing when to pause and address an issue. Remembering that travel is not a sprint, but a joyful, leisurely journey can enhance not just the vacation itself, but your well-being long after you return home. Prioritize recovery over persistence. It's the secret to enjoying many more adventures like Mary and Tom's for decades to come. Mistake number 2 that many older travelers fall into is what we call the one-meal trap. This involves consuming just one large meal a day and grazing on high-sugar snacks, which can lead to hidden health issues, particularly for those of us over 60. To illustrate this, let's talk about a traveler named Susan. Susan, a vivacious 65-year-old, loved the thrill of exploring new destinations. She had a knack for diving deep into cultural experiences and would often skip meals during the day too absorbed in her adventures to stop for a proper lunch or dinner. Instead, she'd resort to grabbing a quick pastry or a sugary snack to keep her energy up. By evening, she'd sit down to a sumptuous feast, believing that this one large meal was enough to fuel her body. The issue with Susan's approach was that it inadvertently led to significant nutritional imbalances. The long periods without sufficient nutrients caused her blood sugar levels to spike and crash, a cycle that adversely affected her gut microbiome over time. Now, as some of you might know, our gut health plays a pivotal role not just in digestion, but in regulating our immune systems. An imbalanced diet can diminish our body's ability to fend off infections. Susan soon found herself catching colds more frequently and feeling unusually fatigued, which puzzled her given her vibrant lifestyle. One evening during a trip to Italy, a particularly nasty bug landed her in a local clinic, where a compassionate doctor explained how her eating habits were potentially compromising her immune system. This was a wake-up call for Susan. To avoid falling into the same trap as Susan, it's essential to make a proactive shift in how you approach meals on the go. Incorporate the habit of eating smaller, more balanced meals throughout the day. Focus on including plant-based foods full of fiber and lean protein to support your gut health. For instance, carrying nuts, fresh fruit, or whole grain snacks can be incredibly beneficial. These options give you sustained energy and help stabilize blood sugar levels. Additionally, it's wise to be aware of the nutritional value of hotel breakfasts or meals on flights. Look for opportunities to incorporate greens, legumes, or grilled options, steering clear of processed or sugar-laden foods. This steady input of nutrients fortifies both your gut and immune system, making it easier to enjoy each destination with gusto and resilience, just like the sunrise to sunset traveler you aspire to be, minus the health pitfalls. By making these subtle yet impactful changes in your dietary routine, you can enhance your overall health and longevity, ensuring that your travels are as enriching as they are safe. Avoid the one-meal pitfall, and embrace a lifestyle that keeps your vitality on point for each adventure that awaits you. Traveling offers the thrill of discovery, but many senior travelers unwittingly fall victim to what we call the hydration illusion, the third mistake on our list. It's a common mistake that slowly erodes both health and enjoyment. With the allure of coffee to kickstart the day, maybe a glass of wine with dinner, or even freshly squeezed juice at breakfast, it's easy to assume we're well hydrated. These beverages are pleasant companions on a journey, but poor substitutes for water. As we age, our thirst receptors become less responsive. This means we could be getting dehydrated long before feeling thirsty. It's a hidden risk, and one that becomes especially critical when traveling. Being away from the comfort and routine of home can mean we're unintentionally ignoring our body's subtle signals for water. Additionally, some might restrict fluid intake to avoid frequent bathroom trips in unfamiliar or inconvenient situations, further deepening the hydration trap. Let me tell you about Frank, a spirited traveler in his early 70s. On a recent Mediterranean cruise, Frank loved exploring ancient ruins and bustling local markets. However, midway through the trip, he noticed his mind wasn't as sharp as it usually was. He struggled to recall simple things. During a guided tour, Frank found himself missing key points the guide was making, often zoning out during conversations, a frustrating and unfamiliar experience for him. At first, Frank dismissed it as mere travel fatigue, but the issue persisted, affecting his enjoyment of the journey. A fellow traveler, noticing Frank's lackluster energy, suggested upping his water intake. Intrigued, Frank took this advice to heart, swapping those midday coffees and evening cocktails for clear, refreshing water. The effect was transformative. Within just a day or two, he found his concentration improving, and his memory seemed to click back to its usual self. He was able to engage more fully with his tours and enjoy discussions with his new friends on board. Frank's story underscores the hidden danger of chronic, mild dehydration and its cognitive costs. Dehydration leads to reduced blood volume, increasing pressure on the heart and kidneys. Even mild, it can cloud our minds, impairing short-term memory and slowing reaction times, which can lead to accidents or poor decision-making, especially in unfamiliar environments where you need your wits about you more than ever. But fear not, because maintaining good hydration is both simple and effective. Prioritize water as your main beverage choice. Consider using a marked water bottle to track your intake throughout the day. Many find it helpful to use phone reminders until water becomes a regular part of their routine. Ensure a good start by drinking a glass or two of water with each meal, making it an effortless habit rather than a chore. Mistake 4 is the all-at-once mentality. Imagine being eager to explore a new city, immersing yourself in its culture, and savoring every moment, only to find the relentless itinerary throwing your internal clock into disarray. Many senior travelers, driven by curiosity and a love for discovery, attempt to pack their schedules with back-to-back activities, moving rapidly between destinations. But what often gets overlooked is the toll this can take on our circadian rhythm, the body's natural clock that dictates sleeping and feeding patterns, brainwave activity, and hormone production, among other things. Consider the story of Daniel and Martha, a couple who recently ventured to Tokyo after a 13-hour flight from London. Excited and energetic, they leaped into the bustling streets, visiting museums, savoring sushi at Tsukiji Market, and taking endless photographs of cherry blossoms. But as the days went by, the exhilaration faded, replaced by fatigue and an inability to sleep through the night. Their bodies couldn't catch up, and this sacrifice in rest began to dim their adventure, as they found themselves too tired to engage with their surroundings truly. Our bodies rely on the synchronization of light and temperature with our internal processes. When we switch time zones abruptly, especially across lengthy travels, we may inadvertently disrupt this harmony. The impact might seem negligible at first, but chronic disturbances to the circadian rhythm can lead not just to temporary disorientation, but to an increased risk of serious health issues. Studies show links between sleep deprivation and the likelihood of developing heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline, all risks heightened with age. To circumvent this, older travelers should adopt the practice of including buffer days in their travel plans. What this means is dedicating the initial 24 to 48 hours in a new time zone primarily for adaptation. This isn't time wasted. Rather, it allows you to soak in the local atmosphere at a leisurely pace, getting to know the rhythm of the place without the frantic rush. By doing so, you'll expose your body to natural daylight, a key component in stabilizing the body's internal clock, and avoid artificial screens at night, which can further exacerbate sleep disruptions. Adjusting meal schedules to align with the new time zone is equally crucial. Pretend, if you will, that you're living like a local from the get-go. This way, your body gradually assimilates to the new environment, facilitating a smoother transition into a restful sleep pattern. Taking time to enjoy a morning coffee while observing the streets waking up can be just as enriching as a packed museum tour and lends itself to further enriching your travel experience. Internal clocks can't be rushed, so planning your travels with patience at the core not only keeps your travels delightful, but also safeguards your well-being. Avoiding the all-at-once mentality opens up the possibility for a richer, more immersive adventure, while respecting the natural rhythm of the body, supporting longevity and optimal health. Mistake number 5 is the digital disconnect, a sneaky but impactful habit that many senior travelers might unknowingly fall into. In today's digital age, it's so easy to rely on our smartphones and other devices for almost everything. From finding directions to translating languages and even connecting with loved ones back home through video calls and social media. While technology is undoubtedly an asset, letting it dominate our interactions can quietly lead to a kind of social isolation that poses more serious health risks than most of us might imagine. Dr. Vivek Murthy, an American physician and a former vice admiral in the United States Public Health Service Commissioned Corps, has articulated that social isolation can have detrimental effects on our cognitive health, comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This might sound astonishing, but it boils down to one simple fact. Human beings thrive on meaningful communication and social interactions. They are not just beneficial for the soul, but are vital for maintaining a sharp and healthy mind. I'd like to share a story about a traveler named George. George was an active retiree, enthusiastic about ticking countries off his bucket list. On a recent trip to the vibrant city of Lisbon, he found himself navigating his journey mostly through his smartphone. The restaurants he chose were based on app reviews, his conversations were limited to pre-written phrases on a translation app, and the evenings were often spent scrolling through feeds instead of soaking up the bustling local culture. Gradually, George began to feel a creeping sense of loneliness amidst the picturesque landscapes and historic lanes. It wasn't because people were unkind, but because he hadn't opened himself up to genuine interaction. This experience left George feeling more isolated and disconnected, a stark contrast to the joyful anticipation of travel he once knew. The good news is that changing a few daily habits can prevent this digital disconnect and enrich your travel experience profoundly. One effective strategy is setting daily goals for face-to-face interactions. For instance, make it a point every day to engage in at least one conversation with a local or fellow traveler. You could start small by greeting the hotel staff, exchanging pleasantries with shopkeepers, or if you're feeling adventurous, joining a local cooking class or guided walking tour. Engaging in these spontaneous and complex social interactions offers mental stimulation that no app can replicate. These simple changes not only help alleviate loneliness, but also protect brain health. Immersing in conversations can enhance memory retention, boost mood, and grant a deeper connection to the culture you're exploring. So, the next time you're tempted to reach for your device, remember George's lesson. Try opting for a friendly chat or a meeting with new friends instead. It may just be the most rewarding part of your journey, one that keeps your mind agile and your heart full. Mistake 6. The sitting is resting trap, or what many don't realize, is actually a window to vascular stagnation. As older travelers, it's easy to fall into the habit of thinking that sitting for extended periods on a long journey, whether it be by train, bus, or plane, is the perfect opportunity to rest. After all, you're off your feet, you can finally roll back those shoulders and perhaps catch up on some reading or take a nap. Yet, what's actually happening beneath the surface could be more concerning than relaxing. Imagine Joan, a vibrant 72-year-old avid traveler. Her European rail adventures have always been a highlight of her travels. On one such journey recently, she found herself on an idyllic train ride, stretching across the Swiss countryside. Mesmerized by the stunning landscapes, Joan spent hours in her seat gazing out the window. It seemed a peaceful, restful day, lost in the rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks. Yet, unbeknownst to her, something less serene was occurring. Upon reaching her destination, Joan experienced an intense and sudden breathlessness. Alarmed but attributing it to fatigue, she decided to rest overnight. The following day, still struggling to catch her breath, Joan was diagnosed with a pulmonary embolism, a potentially life-threatening condition where a blood clot blocks blood flow to the lungs. Her doctors informed her that this likely stemmed from extended sitting during her journey, where blood pooled in her legs, forming clots, a phenomenon known as deep vein thrombosis or DVT. The sitting is resting trap can silently turn restful moments into dangerous health risks. Prolonged sitting during travel reduces blood circulation, leading to vascular stagnation. This stagnation makes the blood more susceptible to forming clots, which, when dislodged, can travel to the lungs, like in Joan's case, causing a pulmonary embolism. But the good news? This can be mitigated with simple, proactive steps. Enter the 20-20 rule, a simple yet life-saving habit. Every 20 minutes, ensure to change position or take a short walk. If you can't get up, try flexing your foot up and down to encourage blood flow. These small movements are enough to keep the blood circulating properly and drastically reduce the risk of clot formation. While walking the aisle of a plane or getting off the bus at stops may seem trivial, these actions contribute significantly to your overall vascular health. Understanding that sitting for long periods is more of an endurance test for the body, rather than a restful interval, can pivot your travel experiences from potentially harmful to health-enhancing. In Joan's case, adopting the 20-20 habit not only gave her peace of mind during travel, but empowered her to continue journeying with confidence and brighter awareness. As seasoned travelers, redefining what we perceive as rest could be one of the most valuable practices we incorporate. Mistake number 7 is something all too familiar for many senior travelers, the "I'm too tired to do my routine," or what I like to call the mobility erosion. As you journey through new destinations, it's easy to fall into the trap of neglecting your daily stretches or mobility exercises, especially when faced with an exhausting travel itinerary. But this quiet mistake can have significant repercussions on your health. Imagine this. Mary, an avid traveler in her 70s, found herself on a month-long journey through Europe. Each day was a whirlwind of sightseeing, cultural experiences, and evening dinners with new friends. As the days passed, Mary noticed a growing sense of fatigue. She attributed this to her busy schedule and decided to skip her morning mobility routine, thinking it was insignificant compared to the grandeur of her adventures. But what seemed like a small omission soon spiraled into something much larger. Without her daily stretches to keep her joints fluid, the synovial fluid in her joints broke down, a common occurrence when exercise routines are abruptly halted. Synovial fluid acts like a lubricant, cushioning your joints during movement. When neglected, joint inflammation can sneak in, leading to pain and discomfort. Mary found herself nursing sore knees and a stiff neck, making each day more challenging than the last. Instead of painting picturesque memories, she was battling discomfort that could have been avoided. So how can you avoid falling into this trap? The solution is simple and only requires a small commitment each day. A 5-minute travel mobility routine can be a game changer. Here's how it works. Begin with gentle hip hinges to keep your lower back and hips limber. Move to ankle rotations. These are vital as they promote flexibility and prevent stiffness, especially after being on your feet. Finally, incorporate gentle neck circles to alleviate the tension that builds from looking around at new sights. These exercises are both quick and effective, designed to maintain your mobility without interrupting your adventurous spirit. They act as essential protection for your joints, preventing the erosion that can sideline your travel experiences. Remember, the goal of travel isn't just to see the world, it's to live a long, healthy life in the world. Your daily habits, not your destination, are the real determinants of your travel future. By making small, mindful changes, you can ensure that your next trip isn't just a vacation, it's an investment in a longer, more vibrant life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to enhance your travel experiences and longevity. Like this video if you found it helpful, and share it with fellow travelers who need this essential guidance.